Hello, so today I wanted to do a Just Dance theory video. So I have a theory on the telephone map from Just Dance 2023. So strap in, cause it's gonna be a wild ride. So just so you know how dedicated I am, I took all my notes on this big notepad. So just to let you know, I am serious about this. So if you want a full rundown on the lore on the telephone map, I do suggest watching the video that little Siha made, because she goes in depth on it. But I'm just going to be like summarizing it. So for the summary for telephone, so the map starts out with Louise Styles. Louise is the main coach for this map. So it starts out with her and her 4 backup dancers, and they're obviously in some type of jail. And at the beginning, we could see a hand pointing at Louise, and we could see that it's Nightwan's hand. So somehow, some way, they got imprisoned by Nightwan, and I'm pretty sure she imprisoned them because she wanted to turn them into like her minions, because there's in like the main lore for Just Dance 2023 and 2024, Nightwan has been turning previous coaches into like her minions. So I'm pretty sure that that's what he was going to do with them. And okay, so we can see that Louise and the backup dancers goes through like the main hall, like the main like whatever it's called, it's the main hallway, and like throughout the main like prison area. And while like during all of this, we could see like previous Lady Gaga coaches, and it's a whole bunch. So I'm just gonna be speeding through their names. So of course it's Louise and her 4 backup dancers, and 2 of them are Bonnie and Clyde, and they're all gonna be important, so I'm gonna be bringing up them later. And the other 2 unnamed coaches: Adam Eve from Born This Way, Claire Obscure from Bad Romance, Jane Wayne from John Wayne, Shadow Rider from Judas. And Shadow Rider is also important, so put a pin in that. It's Iconashard from Just Dance, Indra from Rain on Me. Oh, I'm sorry, I might butcher this name. It's Aroha from Stupid Love, and Countess Butterfly from Applause. So those are all of the previous Lady Gaga coaches that were imprisoned. So, and during Beyonce's verse, we could see Icona on the phone with someone, and you could see she's like I don't know how to put this into words. She's like very like, I guess, angry, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word. And at this point, we still don't know who Icona was talking to. So at this point, it's still a mystery to us. Let's see how I did talk to the Just Dance team about this, and the coach that Iconashard was talking to was either another Lady Gaga coach, or was a coach on the stained glass windows at the in the background of the background of Just Dance. So it's either those 2, and I do have some theories about those, about who it is too. So the only three Lady Gaga coaches that aren't imprisoned up to this point are from Just Dance 2024 and Just Dance 2025. So it's of course after this map was released. So it's Eva Chase from Paparazzi, and Regina Hart and her two backup dancers as well from Poker Face, and it's also Sally Mystic from the Seated Alt. So those are I guess it's technically what, five, including clubs and spades. So it's technically five coaches that aren't in prison up to this point. So back to the telephone map. So after Icona Short was on the phone with that coach, all of them end up freaking out. I guess you can say that Icona Short technically broke them out, since while Beatrice first was pounding on some glass, and it broke out. So you could technically say this, you did, but yeah. So after they broke out, we can see that all of them, are dancing while they're trying to escape from the prison, and they eventually escape, fully escapes. As far as we know, I want you to pay attention to the background of where they are when they broke out, because that area is important to this. So do pay attention to this. So for my first theory, the main question for this one is who broke them out. So in my eyes, there are two options. So up to this point, as far as we know, there are three other Lady Gaga coaches. There's Eva Chase, there's Sally Mystic, and there's Regina Hart, and I'm not including the backup dancers. So there's three. So from what the Just Dance team said, the other is, if it's another Lady Gaga coach, it has to be those three. And then for the option of the coach that could be on stained glass windows, there are some other options. For the coach that was on the stained glass window that Icona Short could have been talking to, there's a lot of options. So as you can see, there's a whole bunch of stained glass windows in that map, but there are a couple that I want to point out that I think is important. So one of them that I think could have been the one that Icona Short was talking to is specifically Rasputin. The main reason why I think it's specifically Rasputin is because in Just Dance 2025, there's a map with Rasputin and the bride, and at the end, I'm not gonna go too in depth on this one, but at the end, it does show Rasputin in that same desert that the Lady Gaga coaches was in at the end of Telephone. So that's the main reason why I think it has to be him. And for the other Lady Gaga coach, in my opinion, the only other person that I feel like it could be is Eva Chase, because there was a TikTok or YouTube Shorts video that they put out when that map was originally released, and what they said was that Eva Chase, so basically to summarize, they said that Eva Chase likes to she likes the reason why I think it's Eva Chase is because the Just Dance team put out a video about like some lore on her when her map was originally released, and what they basically said is that Eva likes to break out prisoners, and while they were saying this, they had the telephone map and going on like playing in the background. So I feel like they put that as the background for a reason. So I feel like that's a hint as to who it could have been. So out of the two, who could have been? Is it Rasputin or is it Eva Chase? So Eva Chase is known to break out prisoners from jail, but Rasputin was seen at the same spot that the Lady Gaga coaches escaped from, like from the jail. So who could have been? In my opinion, I don't think it's one or the other. It's both of them. So hear me out on this. I feel like they could have been. I feel like they could have teamed up to break them out. At first, I was thinking that they could have been breaking them out and they didn't know about the other one. But in my opinion, I feel like they were in cahoots. I feel like they were doing this together. So, but why would they? Why? So one thing I want to know is why they teamed up. So I feel like they teamed up because Rasputin doesn't have. I feel like Rasputin doesn't have the experience for this, so he had to team up with someone with more experience. So he had to, I guess, recruit or employ Eva Chase to take them out. So we know why Eva Chase has. So I feel like we know why Eva Chase did this, but I want to know why Rasputin did this. So for this next point, this one's more speculative. So take it with a grain of salt. So I feel like Rasputin wanted to break the Lady Gaga coaches out is because him and Iconosword, I believe that Rasputin broke them out is because Iconosword helped him out in the past. So a lot of the time, the songs that the coaches are dancing to, I feel like they don't have like a full connection to the coaches, but a lot of the time, especially with Rasputin, there is a connection to the coach and the songs. Since Rasputin shares a name with the song he's dancing to, so I feel like what's happening in the song is also happening to Rasputin. So at the end of the song, the person singing it is saying that how they put poison into his wine, and he said he'd drink it all and I feel fine. So I feel like, of course, I feel like that has to happen. I feel like that had to happen to him because, of course, he's Rasputin. So of course he's gonna. What's happening in the song is gonna happen to him. So I feel like Iconosword was the one to give him like some sort of cure or an antidote. Is that the word? An anecdote? Whatever. I feel like she gave him some sort of cure or antidote for his poison. So she basically saved his life. So I feel like he's indebted to Iconosword in some way. So I feel like he So he had to feel like some sort of, he had to feel, he, I feel like he felt like he had to break them out to pay her back. So that's what I think had the connection between Icona and Rasputin is. And with, of course, with Effort Chase, C is a fellow Lady Gaga coach, and she already breaks out prisoners. So of course, C had to break the Lady Gaga coaches out too. So that's the, I feel like that's the connection between all of them is. So for the TLDR, the people to break out the Lady Gaga coaches are Rasputin and Ever Chase. In my opinion, of course. Now that we know who broke out the Lady Gaga coaches, my other question is, what's up with the seated alt of Telephone? Because, like I said before, Bonnie and Clyde are important in this one. So Bonnie and Clyde are the coaches to dance to the seated alt for Telephone. So basically, this isn't as in-depth as the main dance, but it is important. So basically, Bonnie and Clyde are on the back of a pickup truck, and of course they're dancing while the person in the front is like driving them somewhere. And basically at the end, they get pulled over by like police that we don't see them, but of course we know it's police since we can see like the police lights. So my main question is, does this take place before or after the main map of Telephone? So this took a lot of thinking from me because I had no clue. So, but after a lot of thinking, I feel like this takes place before the main map. Because when you think about it, why would they get broken out of prison just to get thrown back in prison by the police? So I feel like that just doesn't make sense. So I feel like I feel but I feel like them getting thrown back in prison just doesn't make sense. So I feel like having the seated alt take place before the main map makes much more sense. It's the seated alt, they got pulled over by the police, they got thrown into prison, and then Telephone takes place, and then they get broken out of prison. So I feel like that line of events just makes much more sense to me. So since Rasputin is like, in my opinion, since Rasputin has to do with this, I feel like we have to talk about his whole storyline as well. I'm not going to be going in depth with this either, but so Rasputin was originally gonna get married to the bride, but at the end of Sweet Psycho, you could see him at the end, and at the venue, and he obviously missed his wedding day, but to this point, we still don't know why, and I feel like the reason why he missed his wedding is because he was trying to break the Lady Gaga coaches out of prison. So it's not just the timeline with the telephone maps, but it's also the timeline with Rasputin and the bride, and that's all like woven together. So with this whole like timeline, I feel like it's the telephone alt, Super Psycho, I Am My Own Muse, the main map of telephone, and payphone. So with how that is, I feel like since this the telephone alt, because this is right as they get pulled over and taken to prison, and then Super Psycho. So I feel like, in my opinion, with this, telephone and payphone also take place around the same time. So with the telephone alt, obviously it's gonna be at the beginning because it's right as they get pulled over and thrown into prison, so that has to be at the beginning. I feel like Super Psycho's next because you can see Rasputin at the end. He's obviously in his original costume, and then in I'm On Your Muse he does a costume change, and in Telephone and Payphone I feel like that's at the end because Rasputin, he at the end of Payphone, Rasputin was also in his costume change, so I feel like that these two have to be at the end as well. So I know this is kind of confusing because why is Super Psycho right after the telephone alt? Yes, I feel like Rasputin missed his wedding, not just because he was trying to get them broken out of prison. I feel like he missed his wedding because he was in the process of breaking him out of prison, because he was trying to have a chase. He was trying to come up with some way to get them out of prison. So I feel like coming up with a way to get them out of prison is the main reason why he missed his wedding, and not him breaking out of prison itself. Not breaking them out of prison itself. So that's how I feel about it. And of course, it's Super Psycho, I Am My Own Music, and then Payphone, because of course that has to be the chronological order. And then at the end of Payphone, you can see Rasputin in the same desert. I don't know if it's a desert or not, but I'm just gonna say desert. You can see him in this exact same desert that the Lady Gaga coaches were when they broke out of prison. So I feel like that's the main reason why I feel like that's near the end of this timeline. Or the ending of Payphone, I feel like that's not him going to break him. I feel like that's not him going to break them out of prison. I feel like that's him after he's already broken them out. So he already broke them out. So he missed his wedding. He already broke them out, and then he's trying to call the bride at at the beginning of Payphone to try to get her back, try to win her heart back. So I feel like the ending of Payphone is the ending of this whole thing. So he's already got Everchase. He already broke them out. And then he already missed his wedding. So I feel like this is just near the end of this whole storyline. So for the final piece of the puzzle, my final theory. So this really has. So in the beginning, I said to put a pin in Shadow Rider, and this is when she's gonna come back up. So I'm gonna pull in a coach I haven't talked about before. So when you think of the coaches that have to do with this whole thing, I feel like you wouldn't think of Florence from Sweet Melody, but I think she does have to do with this, because when Just Dance 2025 first released, the Just Dance team made a tweet about Florence, and they were basically saying how she looks similar to Shadow Rider, but she isn't. I'm gonna put in the tweet right now, and they end up saying, "We swear she's not the she's." Okay, they said, "We swear she's not the Judas coach, but she writes too." And I feel like Florence and Shadow Rider are related somehow, whether it's mother and daughter or sisters. Personally, I think it's sisters, but I feel like they are related. And both of them have like a motorcycle theme, and both of them have a similar color scheme. So I feel like they have to be related somehow. And I feel like Florence helped them, not help them. I feel like Florence helped them escape, but not the way you think. She didn't help them get them out of prison, but she helped the Lady Gaga coaches like find some type of ride to like flee the prison. So she had a whole bunch of motorcycles, and she found some way to bring them to them so they can just flee the prison. And when I was originally thinking about this, I was thinking there's a whole bunch of like vehicles in the parking lot of the prison, so why didn't they just take any of those? So in my opinion, I feel like they just didn't want to have a vehicle that's tied back to they didn't want a vehicle that could be tied back to the prison, so they ended up just getting motorcycles from Florence. So I feel like that's the reason why they didn't get like an actual like another pickup truck. So that's the main reason why I feel like, well, that's the final theory that I have. So to recap everything, Rasputin and Everchase helped the Lady Gaga coaches escape prison, and the theater alt of Telephone takes place at the beginning of this whole timeline instead of after Telephone. And Florence is related to Shadow Rider, and she brought all these motorcycles to help them escape and flee from the prison. So if you made it this far, thank you for watching this. This is my first Just Dance Theory video I'm putting out. I feel I put a lot of thought into this. As you can see, I'm very dedicated to this, so Just Dance team, if you want to hire me, I'm here. So thank you for watching, and please subscribe.